This is Steve with Worm Kings, and I'm going to show you a method I use for my optimum worm production and vermicast production here with my Mega N. If you look down in my Mega N now, you can go ahead and see how I've got the cardboard on top. What I'm going to do, and the reason I have the dry cardboard like this, dry shredded cardboard, is it allows for great airflow. Also, it's a barrier for my African night crawlers, so they don't all when they usually hit a dry area, they aren't going to keep coming on up. So just to show you what I do, first of all, is I remove the dry material here. It's going to take me a few seconds. And this is material that I'll add back on the top. I'm taking just the driest material that's on top. It should have no worms because it is all dry. There is a straggler or two that gets up in there. I'm not going to worry about it. Hopefully they'll find their way back down into the system. Okay, now that I've done removed that material, we're going to put that off to the side. And now you can see the material that I have there is going to be mostly what's right close to the surface. And so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take what's on the very surface, put that in the bottom of my container here. And there might be a few worms mixed in there, but not a whole lot. You may ask, why am I doing things the way I do? Well, this material that I'm pulling out now is actually going to be go flip to the bottom. And this acts to absorb any extra moisture, plus it's going to give me some great airflow. And that's a big reason I like the Mega N to begin with, is because it has great airflow. So if you look in that area right now, you can have a good idea how it looks. I'm going to take one further step now, and this is where I'm going to pull out the material about 2 inches down into the system. Now this is a little bit unconventional with your, before I did that, I'm going to actually use this container that I just pulled out, and that material is actually going in here. Sorry about that. I got too many bins going at the same time. So now I'm pulling out this material that's loaded with worms. I'm laying that up on in the surface here. And I'll get about a bin's worth. These are actually old breeder bins that I had. And I did this, you can see it's really loaded with worms. I use juice pulp. I got a little plastic that I missed in the juice pulp there. We'll just set that off to the side. And the cardboard, really, it seems like the more shredded cardboard I add into the system, the better my airflow is, and the more the worms thrive. Here you can get a good idea of the worm population that I have. It is really loaded with worms. They are a smaller worm because I have them crowded pretty much in my system. So now I've got a pretty good helping of worms, and of course a great microbial system because and you can see they're actually probably more of a red worm size. They're more of a red worm size, but they still make the super castings, and that's why I really like the African night crawlers. Alright, so now you can see I've got a good population of worms in this system here. Alright, we'll just set that off to the side. And now I take the material here and I'm going to spread it around a bit. And I'm just going to give you a nice little close-up here before we proceed any further. Just kind of can see the activity that's going on in the bin here. The amount of worms I have in this system. I'm sure they love that bright light I'm shining on them. But now here's where things are a little bit different. Now I'm going to take some of that dry cardboard that I took out originally, and I'm going to sprinkle that on the surface here. And the reason I'm doing this, it helps soak up the juices from my juice pulp mix. I get actually juice pulp from an organic juice bar, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for us right now. Put that in our system. You can see I have some coffee grounds in there. It's probably going to spread, it's about 10 pounds of material. I'm going to spread it about 1 inch thick all across the system. Now remember those worms that I took out just a moment ago? Give you an idea just how that looks. I'll give you a nice little close-up of that too. It's mostly, you can see some kale, carrot, I have celery, avocado, coffee grounds. I actually use some calcium carbonate and some glacial rock dust just to add some mineral content and a little bit grit for the worms. Now I'm going to actually take that material loaded with worms, and I'm going to put that right into the system here. You'll notice my bin isn't all full of worms here because, of course, I had the shredded cardboard in there. And I'm going to go ahead and manipulate this material around. So I have some material that's pretty much processed, both above and below the feed stock that I just put in. And now, probably just to juice it up just a bit, I'm going to add about a ½ gallon of water. I like to use a watering can because it's a whole lot faster than misting. I use about a ½ gallon. I've been going with this bin now for a little more than a half of a year now. It's going to be ready for harvesting, I believe, after this feeding. And now, you see I had a nice dose of water in there. Then the dry material that I put taken out originally goes back into the bin on the surface. And of course, I'll probably add just a touch more because I actually used some of that material. You get like a 2-inch barrier on top that's dry, and you'll find your worms pretty much stay in place. Now spread that across, and that actually concludes my feeding process for optimizing worm production. I appreciate you watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Bye now.